Chattanooga is a river city with a rich 175-year history that dates back to its origin as a trading post along the Tennessee River, owned by Chief John Ross of the Cherokee Nation. With the onset of the Industrial Age, the city grew and prospered. Eventually, it pushed its way out along easily developable lands, like valleys and floodplains, where surrounding farms were transformed to support the growing needs for industrial, residential, and commercial development. Chattanooga began to deal with its water resources in many different ways. Dams were built to utilize the power of hydraulics, and streams were used to carry away the waste of manufacturing processes. Additional infrastructure, like storm sewers and drainage channels, were required to support these developments and modified the land's original hydrology. Before development, small rainfall events, which make up the majority of storms in Chattanooga, would be absorbed by trees, vegetation, and soils, generating little or no additional rainwater that would flow into streams or creeks. But with the growing amounts of parking lots, rooftops, and roadways, also called impervious surfaces, more rainwater flowed along the surface and into surface storm drains rather than flowing down into the ground. This storm-generated water runoff flows through underground piping and is then discharged directly into stream channels during rainfall events. This increased the potential for chemical pollutants like oil and excessive dirt and sediment to be carried into streams and impact water quality and the overall stream health. Increases in stormwater runoff causes water to fill stream channels more quickly than it can move downstream. This additional volume of water continues to fill the channel until it overflows the banks, causing a flood event. These flood events can damage property, create traffic problems, and even cause death. Also, increased water flow can change the shape and pattern of the stream channel. In a natural system, plants and trees draw in water, limiting the amount of runoff that flows into the channel. And although flooding may occur, it is generally less devastating and spreads out onto the floodplain. However, with increased urbanization and associated impervious areas and a decrease in the number of plants and trees along the river, less water is absorbed, causing more water to flow into the channel. The channel fills more quickly, and the water moves faster, causing more erosion along the channel. As the stream channel erodes, trees, fences, and structures that are found along the river can be destroyed. As described earlier, with more stormwater runoff, less rainwater infiltrates into the ground and into the porous spaces of the soil where water is stored within the ground. As the water flows into the porous spaces within the soil, it slows down and is held in storage and slowly released into the streams over time. So under normal conditions, the streams are continuously and slowly fed water from the ground storage, keeping stream habitats healthy and consistent. Without this stream base flow, streams will suffer from significant extremes in water levels, from high levels during storms to near dry conditions during dry seasons. This greatly impacts the type and number of plant and animal species that can survive in the streams. This change in the habitat compounds as a negative effect in the entire ecosystem, all the way up the food chain. For example, the South Chickamauga Creek watershed is home to the Chickamauga crayfish and is the only place in the world that this tiny creature lives. But this is not the only resource the South Chickamauga provides. The public also relies on this resource for fishing, boating, and overall stream and ecological health. The Brainerd Road corridor lines the bank of this creek for a stretch of the stream just northeast of the city center. This area has witnessed tremendous growth, and with this expansion has witnessed an increase in the amount of stormwater runoff. Further, structures have been built within the area that in the past was susceptible to natural occasional flooding, called the floodplain. The urbanization and increased runoff have resulted in stream erosion threatening the native plant and animal species, including the crayfish. However, Chattanooga is not alone. These are typical problems being experienced around the world as urbanization expands into undisturbed lands. In response to the impacts of urbanization on water quality, the United States Congress passed the Clean Water Act, which prohibits the discharge of pollutants unless they are compliant with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES, permit. Chattanooga's compliance with its current NPDES stormwater permit requires the city to establish a comprehensive stormwater management program. The program includes requirements for landowners to monitor the amount of stormwater that can run off and flow into storm drains. Also, the program allows for the city to develop, implement, and enforce controls to reduce the discharge of pollutants from areas of new development and redevelopment. So, comprehensively, the program helps the city manage the volume of stormwater and monitor the potential for pollutants to impact water quality by enforcing flow rate standards and stormwater management structures located on all new and redeveloping sites. The most significant of these requirements states that the first inch of rainfall must be managed with no discharge to surface waters. In other words, the first inch of rainfall must be able to flow down into the ground, infiltrate, evaporate back into the air, or somehow reused through better stormwater and land development practices, such as on-site rainwater collection and storage systems that can be used to water lawns and/or landscaping. The intent is to preserve, maintain, reestablish, or mimic the natural water cycle of the land during development as much as possible. This approach of managing small, frequent rainfall events is accomplished with low-impact development strategies or green infrastructure best management practices. An example of low-impact development strategies, or LIDS, include green infrastructure solutions such as rain gardens, bioswales, porous pavement, and other simple innovations that slow water down, capture it, and allow it to drain in. The City of Chattanooga has developed the Rainwater Management Guide to provide a comprehensive tool for the developer and design professional to effectively and efficiently meet required rainwater runoff standards and learn how to properly implement LID and green infrastructure practices. To find out more about how the city has implemented these practices in a pilot project, please look for our next video featuring effective stormwater restoration along the Brainerd Road corridor. Thanks for watching.